smile, John.
Not much to smile about.
Oh yeah, you're knocking on the door of 100. You have a lot to smile about. You beat the system.
Yeah.
You beat the system. You truly did. Everyone listening would probably wish they lived during the time you did. That was a much better lifestyle. Yeah. Today is June 21st, 2025. We're in Studio 4C today. And it's my pleasure and my distinct honor to be speaking with World War II combat veteran, humble hero.
Humble hero.
Yeah, Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
You're looking well.
Yeah.
You look good in blue. I heard you had a lot of visitors today.
Oh man, did we have visitors?
You couldn't keep up.
Huh?
You had a beautiful day with all your visitors.
Food all over, my God.
Food everywhere. And they went to dinner afterwards, I think.
Huh?
I think they went to dinner afterwards.
Oh yeah? Boy, those people are gonna eat.
Well, they're growing kids, I guess.
Boy, oh boy.
Boy, Mr. Jeckovich had a great pleasure. He had Tom and Shay, his grandson. He had Zach, his great-grandson, and Holly.
Yeah.
He had his fifth generation.
All those kids?
Yeah, he had his fifth generation great-great-granddaughter, Hailey Jeckovich. He had Lily Jeckovich. What a fine girl she is, right?
Great.
Yeah, she got big now, isn't she?
Yeah, she'll be driving soon. Let's see who else you had. You had Jake Jeckovich. He's like 2 years old. He tears up the place, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He was all over. And then last but not least, you had Brooks and Brantley Jeckovich.
Yeah.
Those are your great-great-grandsons. So you had a beautiful day.
Yeah, they were all over outside.
Would you watch them crisscrossing the yards and going every which way?
Yeah.
Those are nice kids.
I hope they got all their kids back.
Yeah, they came. They rounded them all up. But they're very, very well-behaved children. They're active, but they're well-behaved.
Yeah.
Well-behaved. And you look at the energy they put out.
Oh boy.
No wonder why they eat 10 times a day. They're just burning it up as fast as they're putting it in.
Yeah.
And that little boy, not even knee-high, he was listening to the cartoons today in Russian. So I guess he must have your Russian blood. Imagine that. He was listening to cartoons in Russian. He must have Russian blood. Wow. Wow. So all in all, it was a beautiful day, right?
Yeah.
Were you surprised to see them all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my God. Your head was turning every which way. You couldn't keep up with where all were going.
Oh yeah. Boy.
And then you had a pizza party with them. You had cake and ice cream. Wow. You need more days like that, I can tell you. Those are great kids. And very smart.
Well.
Well, let's move on. It's June 21st, 2025, and it's the first day of summer.
The first day of summer, yeah.
The longest day of the year.
Yeah.
Wow, where did the time go? Mr. Jeckovich said some time ago, he blinked his eyes at 20 years old, and now he's 100 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did 80 years go, Mr. Jeckovich?
Huh?
Where did 80 years ago?
Oh yeah.
Where did it go?
Yeah. Time goes by.
You're not going to beat Father Time. He's going to win every time. But just think back for a minute when you're a boy, how beautiful and how peaceful everything was.
Oh yeah. You didn't have all this nonsense going on.
Yeah, it's a very complicated life now. Very complicated. It's dog eat dog. But look at the beautiful things. You'd go shopping with your mother. You would make an ice skating ring in the front of your house.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't have someone paging you or calling you every 2 seconds with a cell phone. Because there was no cell phones. There wasn't TV, which is a beautiful idea. All these gadgets today are supposed to give you conveniences. But they do just the opposite. They don't give you conveniences.
Yeah.
They make you a slave. Anyone wants to talk to you or get a hold of you, they page you or text you,
Yeah.
and they make you crazy.
Yeah.
Who needs all that? Who needs all that? So you actually lived at a great time.
Huh?
You actually lived at a great time. You really did. I feel sorry for these kids today.
Those young kids now going to school.
Yeah. They asked you to go to the beach today. How come you didn't want to go?
Huh?
They wanted you to go to the beach with them today. How come you didn't want to go?
Oh, I'm not going on the beach
Mr. Jeckovich, how many years have you been retired for?
since 1980.
So you've been retired for 45 years.
Yeah.
You live next to the ocean, maybe a mile or two away, I would guess. How many times have you been on the beach?
Once.
What, don't you like the sand or something?
Huh?
Don't you like the sand?
No, to my son.
Too much sun. Wow, other people would love to live that close to the beach. In 45 years, you went to the beach one time. Did you stay long?
No.
When you got there and you want to turn around?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So you're not much of a beach person.
No, Amber's up there all the time.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's a full-time surfer. She's
Oh, she's got a problem with her chest now.
Yeah, she's getting better. She'll be fine. She sure will. Prayers go out to little Amber. Beautiful girl. Mr. Jeckovich was with Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich believes in a motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. Yeah, listen, boys and girls, it's a short dance around the sun. It goes by quickly, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're at the crossroads now. We have lots of questions to ask, or we have a lot of reading of your book. Which way you want to go? What would you rather do this today? Read the book or read some of the questions?
Read the question. Read the
All right, let's
question.
put some of these behind us. Let's see what I got here. These are dated 6/17 to 6/21. So let me hit you up with a few and we'll try to get these text questions behind us, okay? Okay, Mr. Jeckovich, where were you born and raised?
Niagara Falls, New York.
How was it then when you were a boy?
Huh?
How was it then when you
It was
were
a
a boy?
beautiful city. It was a beautiful city.
Beautiful
not
city.
anymore.
How is it now?
Terrible. It's closing up.
It's nothing like it was when you
No,
were born,
no.
right? Okay. What was your family life like before the war?
Before the war,
Yeah.
well, they had rationing. And
No, your family at home. What was your family life like before the war?
well, they had, my father had a car. He had a stamp on the windshield. Had just so much gas he could get.
So there was rationing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What did you do for work before you were drafted into World War II?
I worked for Carsdale.
And what did you do there?
I worked for my uncle,
Who's your uncle?
Uncle Andy.
Tell us what type of person he was.
He was a very smart boy.
Very smart.
Yeah.
And what did you do at Croydale's?
He worked sheet metal work.
And what did you make?
Duck work.
Duct work? And you went to all the factories, right?
I had every factory in Buffalo and Niagara Falls.
Uh-huh. And by doing that, you did your due diligence to find out what factory you wanted to work in after the war was over, right?
Yeah.
And what one did you pick?
The one I got to do was the
Kimberly-Clark.
Kimberly-Clark.
Would you have worked at Hooker?
No.
Would you worked at Owen Matheson?
No, you got to stick a mask in your mouth.
Would you worked at DuPont?
No.
No.
All chemical plants.
Uh-huh. What were your hobbies before you started the war, before you entered the war?
woodworking and doing stuff around the house. I build Sally a dollhouse.
How old were you when you got drafted?
19,
Tell us.
33.
33 is the military code for teenagers. Tell us the reason why your two brothers enlisted and you waited to get drafted.
Well, I'm concerned about my mother.
Yeah, his two brothers enlisted, and once
Coast
you
Guard and Stevie got over. He was in school.
yeah, once you enlist, you could get a little bit better position. His one brother enlisted, ended up staying in the United States, teaching other cadets how to drive Jeeps. Did he have some special talent?
No, run over a fire hydrant one time.
I see. But Mr. Jeckovich, the sole reason he didn't enlist was that he wanted to spend the most time caring for his mother because his father died at 40 years old, working like a slave, 3 different jobs to give his family a better life, And so he was a sole caretaker of his mother, Anna Targets Jeckovich, and to her demise at her age of 89. So he waited to get drafted.
18.
He waited to get drafted so he could spend more time with his mother. But here's the problem. During World War II, if you get drafted, chances are pretty good you're going to go to the front line of combat infantry, and that's exactly where you went. Right? You were in combat.
Well, that's right after the invasion. They had a lot of casualties. They needed new troops.
Yeah. And so that was Mr. Jeckovich's sacrifice, more time with his mom, but frontline infantry, which during World War II, Mr. Jeckovich was shot in the shoulder by a sniper, beat up, stabbed, hand to hand.
Lost a hip.
Lost a hip. Shrapnel. He still has shrapnel in his body.
Yeah.
So whenever he goes to an airport, he has to give him some type of
I
form.
got frostbite in the foot.
Yeah. But let's just say that frostbite is still bothering you now.
Oh, yeah.
80 years later, trench foot. But what does a form basically say? Because all the alarms go off at the airport. Metal detectors go off. What does the form say that allows you to get on a plane with all this metal in your body?
I have a slip. I give him a slip.
And it says you were shot or bombed during World War II.
Yeah.
Okay. So, during World War II, there were 16,400,000 great young boys and girls that participated in World War II. Today, combat infantry front line, we have less than 5,000 left. Mr. Jeckovich is one of them. He's one of the 5,000 left. Most of the guys are in their early hundreds, and we're losing them at a rate of 150 a day. So if you have any questions for Mr. Jeckovich, simply text him at 407-366-0000. He'll be glad to answer text no matter what the subject matter, it doesn't matter. Mr. Jeckovich's mind is like a library. He's done many things. And even if it's advice for marriage, text him 407-366-0000. How many years have you been married?
69.
Yeah, there you go. A great example. 69 long and wonderful years, Mr. Jeckovich was married, and he could give you some advice if needed. Unfortunately, last year in Florida alone, there was over 90,000 divorces. How come?
Not money.
Money, yeah.
Money.
Yeah, it's so hard for these young couples to get by. Most of them are working, struggling with 2 jobs. The bills are high and the income's low. And that brings a lot of friction in the household. Brings a lot of friction in the household. So that's the problem. We hope there's some way through Mr. Jeckovich's book titled Their Mother's Sons, that he could give them a little insight on life to how to have a more productive life and more wholesome of a life. Yeah, money. Most of the divorces came from money. Mr. Jeckovich, how many pages is your book?
849.
And at what store could we buy this book?
You can't. It's not for sale.
Yeah. The book is not for sale now, or ever, never will be for sale. The book is a roadmap to give younger people an easier and better life through Mr. Jeckovich's experience of living 100 years. It's certainly not about selling a book. He doesn't do that. He's not chasing people down to sell a book for money. He's got plenty of money. It's just to share a roadmap to give younger people a better life. When you wrote this book, I know you didn't do Google.
Yeah.
I know you didn't use a computer.
No, just yellow pages.
Yellow legal pad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What great stamina and endurance to do 849 pages. How are you coming with your second book?
I got notes on it now, yeah, but I'm getting distracted now.
You're distracted, yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. You got a lot going on in your life. 100 years old, yeah. A lot of stuff. And so that's what the book is about. It's a beautiful book titled Their Mother's Sons, how Mr. Jeckovich took care of his mother from his age 11 to her demise at 89. When did you retire?
Who?
When did you retire?
1980.
So you've been retired for 45 years?
Yeah.
Wow, you really beat the system. You're a lucky man, you beat the system. Most people retire at 65. At 66, they're dead.
Well, I walked off the job with Kimberly. I got pissed off. I walked off. That was the last time I worked.
35 years.
That's the last time I worked.
Yeah, but you were there 35 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And your automobile tires never hit that parking lot. You walked to work.
no.
Yeah. That's a long time being retired. That's longer than most people live. 45 years. Wow. For example, if you're 40 years old listening, you have about a 5 or 10% chance to make it to 100. It's not an easy task. It's hard to do. It's hard to do. Well, this guy does it.
It gets harder and harder to live.
Yeah, harder to live. He reads through newspapers every morning religiously, including the Wall Street Journal and New York Times and probably a local paper, with no glasses. He just gave an example. He shook his great-great-grandson's hand today, and the strength and power in his right hand brought the kid to the ground.
Yeah.
11.
So there's great longevity. And did you ever smoke?
No.
Did you ever drink?
No.
You jogged for 80 years, right?
Yeah. Ruined my knees.
Well, let's talk about that. When you start jogging 80 years ago, it was not fashionable or acceptable to be a jogger. So what did people say to you?
What are you doing on the road, you bum?
Yeah. So 80 years ago, when Mr. Jeckovich started jogging in his typical clothes, boots and corduroy pants, a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, people would yell at him as he ran down the roads in Niagara Falls, New York. Get out of the road, you bum.
Throwing stones at me?
Throwing stones at him. One time,
Yeah.
they hit him in the head with a full can of Campbell's soup and threw empty cans of Genesee beer at him because they thought, get out of the road, you bum. Can't you afford a car? They did not understand. They were ignorant of the fact that they were ignorant that he was jogging for health, not for transportation.
Yeah.
What got you motivated to start jogging 80 years
I
ago?
read a book, Tyson's book.
Or what did that say?
It says that you got to run, you got to keep it in shape, Run, don't stop, and run, start, set it to goal, increase the goal all the time, but don't
Increase
stop
the
and
goal,
run.
yeah.
Plus, remember, your knee was damaged during World War II jumping out of an airplane,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, let's get back to the knees. So there's the trade-off here. Mr. Jeckovich's knees blew out for dragging for 80 years.
And World War II.
And World War II and jumping out of a parachute. And so now this is unfortunately why he's in a wheelchair. But the trade-off is this. Besides the knees blowing out, he has abundant health. Never took a prescription. Never took a vitamin. Never did any of those things.
well, that's the good genes I had.
Yeah, he had good genes, right? He had good genes. Yeah, he had good genes. And so, on the way to the studio today, I observed many joggers. Now the streets are filled with joggers. In your time, you were the sole jogger in the roads.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of these joggers today in these very expensive jogging uniforms.
Oh, yeah.
They're like bright neon pants, matching shirt, jacket,
Yeah,
hats.
that's how they think, that's how they think, yeah.
Very expensive jogging shoes,
Yeah,
earphones for radio, and they have water bottles wrapped around their waist. As time went on, did you ever do that?
no,
You would never do that.
no,
Your jogging uniform stayed the same. Corduroy long pants, boots, and t-shirt or sweatshirt, right?
right,
That was it. So you never got interested in getting all,
putting on a show,
you never got interested in that?
no.
Yeah. I wonder why they do that. I
Well,
wonder why they get all dressed up like that.
well, they're show off, they got to show off.
I know, but
They had nothing else in their life but to show off on something.
yeah, I guess so. I guess this damn Facebook and all these other social media sites turn a large bunch of people
Yeah,
into narcissistic asswipes. Yeah, it's probably true, Mr. Jeckovich. It's probably true. All right, let's get back to some of the text. Where did you do your basic training at, Mr. Jeckovich?
in the Army,
Yeah,
Camp Anchorage.
okay. What was your first impression of military life during your first?
Well, it was regulated, it was clean, and it was supervised.
I see, okay.
What was his typical day of the B-17 flying?
What was your typical day when you were practicing the B-17s? Did you stop and go?
We stop and go, yeah.
And that's all you basically did, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't get that far because they took me off, put me in the infantry because of the casualties they had.
Yeah, from all the casualties, yeah. Let's see.
7 minutes.
When you were in the military, Mr. Jeckovich, in your role of combat, were you a pilot, medic, or infantry?
Infantry.
Yeah. Wow. December 7th, 1941, Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. The next day, the United States entered the World War. The same day, Canada entered World War. Where were you on Pearl Harbor Day bombing?
Ice skating on the creek.
Yeah, you were too young to be in the service.
Yeah.
And then what did your mother say to you?
When I came in for lunch, she said, I think Johnny will be going pretty soon.
And you did.
Yeah.
They did draft you real soon. You became of age. An interesting fact, a lot of very patriotic young boys, they lied about their age. They're 16 and 17. They wanted to help their country.
They were looking on TV, and they were getting all zoosed up.
Yeah, well, they did go in at 16 and 17. There's a lot of patriotic young boys. Let's see here. So your mother says she thought she'd be going pretty soon, right? Yeah. How did you, this is a big question, pertains the atomic bomb. How did you think of the atomic bomb?
How did I figure?
What did you think about the atomic bomb on 2 occasions? during World War?
Oh, they saved a lot of lives. They saved a lot of lives.
So you said it saved a lot of lives.
Yeah.
How come?
Well, they cut the war down, cut
Yeah,
the
'cause
killing
you-
down.
The European theater war was ended. Japanese were holding tight, and those two atomic bomb came, and
And they killed them too.
yeah. Was a major battle you in was the Battle
what?
of Bulge? That was a major battle?
Yeah.
I see. When the war was all over and said and done, what did you do when you returned home?
Well, my mother had a big long list of me.
Here you've been living out in the fields for 2.5 years, freezing your ass off, and you come home, and your mother thought you were goofing off, huh?
Yeah.
And what kind of list was this?
To paint the rooms, do the cellar, clean the cellar up, do something to the cellar, clean the garage up.
She thought you were slacking off.
Yeah.
How about when you went home on furlough? Your mother said, "You're not going to sit around here and eat all day."
Yeah.
Yeah, you're home for half an hour, and you drink.
Well, I had 30 days furlough, and then I shipped out.
Yeah, but you're home for half an hour, no one was home. You ate the leftover meatloaf,
Well, she got over and she said, "You're here supper now."
and you drank the orange juice,
Yeah.
and they were mad.
Yeah, they were mad. Yeah.
That was your welcome home after 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And
And
then
then they went to the movies.
They went to the movies
Yeah.
Without you.
without you. Then that was they gave you a list then too, right?
Yeah.
She said, "You're not going to sit around here during your furlough."
Yeah, gave me a big list.
Get to work.
Holy
See, they
God.
didn't do that with Stevie. Stevie was in school. Look, he was a Coast Guard. He was home most of the time anyway.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So you always had a list.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow.
Well, I was a handyman.
Well, you got that trade from Uncle Andy and your father, right?
Yeah.
Your father was good at it, right?
Oh, yeah. Smart man. Third
Yeah.
grade education.
Yeah, he was a damn good hand. He worked 3 jobs. What a wonderful person. Came over from Russia and got right to work. He didn't ask for nothing. No one would give him nothing, of course. And he got right to work to take care of his family and make his country a better place.
Aunt Sophie and Aunt Bernice.
Yeah. Have you, since World War II, have you ever stayed in contact with your fellow soldiers?
No.
No.
2 minutes.
Huh?
2. Didn't you have one reunion?
Huh?
Didn't you have one reunion back in the 70s or something? Didn't you see some of your fellow soldiers back in the 70s?
Oh, I went to a conference for one of them. I stayed for half an hour. I left.
Why?
And it was in Pennsylvania someplace.
Why did you not stay longer?
Well, because they're all bragging about something. They're doing this, they're doing that.
And they were mostly rear echelon.
Yeah.
And they weren't like you, front line.
No, well, some of them were, they weren't talking.
Yeah, the front line.
So I got bored. I left early.
And that was the last time?
What year
Yeah.
was that about?
Huh?
What year, when did you go do that? The 60s or 70s?
What?
When you went to that Pennsylvania thing, reunion?
Yeah.
What year was it?
Oh, let's see. 55, 56.
Okay. Here, I'm looking at your discharge papers. It said Colonel J. Harris
One
said,
minute.
said when you got released from active duty, you received some mustering out pay.
Yeah, it's $300 a month. It's $300.
Yeah, mustering out pay, for those who don't know, is the pay to get your life back in order in civilian life. So Mr. Jeckovich was awarded to get his life back in order after serving in World War II, a total of $300, and they paid him $100 a month,
Yeah,
right?
$100 a month, yeah.
And then Colonel Harris also authorized a bus fare for $21.95.
To get home, yeah.
And that was the end of it, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Kiss you goodbye.
Minutes?
10 seconds.
Wow, that wasn't much money, was it?
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez.
We'll have to pick this up again tomorrow.
All right, we got another one in the books.
What do you wanna do?